is your First Alert 5 weather with Alan Rose.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty lucky start to the new year. We had a great start to the new year. It was cold last night on the Pikes Peak Summit for the brave men and women as part of the Adamant Club, but they were up there and they shot off those fireworks as promised. This was the 98th time they've been up there. It's been a tradition since back on 1922. And this photo taken by David Johnson of those fireworks shooting off into the midnight sky. Today, the 1st of January, 2020, a brand new year, and it was rather warm out there in the Springs. We're all the way up to 54, but pales in comparison to Pueblo. Look at the high here, 62 after a very cold low at 16. So the low pretty close to the average low this time of the year, but the high more than 15 degrees above the average high. And right now, as we check on current temperatures, we have some freezing cold air out toward the San Luis Valley. That's pretty much been the case for the past couple of weeks, as we know. But for the rest of us, relatively comfortable, seeing mostly 40s around the Springs and Pueblo, 41 Walsenburg, some of the cooler spots, Woodland Park at 23, 31 at Monument. And the reason why it's a little bit warmer than last night at this time is we have this downslope wind hanging on a little bit later than what we would typically see. Usually after sunset, the wind starts the weekend, and because it's still in place, it's mixing the air. You don't have the heat from the day escaping back into the atmosphere. Temperatures quite a bit warmer than this time last night. Look at Pueblo. It's more than 20 degrees warmer than the 10 o'clock hour last night, about 20 degrees warmer for the Springs as well, 17 La Junta, and about 15 warmer in Lyman. We're watching our next cold front, part of this broad weather system impacting the western U.S. Tonight we've got snow back into the mix here across the I-70 corridor. These areas under a winter weather advisory through tomorrow afternoon, and includes the foothills just west of Denver all the way through Vail and Eagle County and all the way west towards Grand Junction and the Utah state line. We also have this included for the Saguache and the Mosquito ranges here in southern Colorado. So snow on the way in the mountains, more wind tomorrow from this cold front. For us here across the lower elevations, just maybe a chance we get a few flurries as the front passes through very early tomorrow morning. I think anything that falls east of I-25, probably down here towards the Raton Mesa. The big story tomorrow, it's going to be a noticeable drop in temperatures. Today in the 50s and 60s, tomorrow highs are only going to be in the 30s and 40s. The morning hours, pretty chilly, but not quite down to the teens like we saw today in Pueblo. Starting out the day in the 20s early in the morning. You can see some of that snow that the model's picking up on. Really don't think it accumulates to much. Maybe a dusting down there towards the New Mexico state line. Highs in the afternoon with some sunshine mixed in the clouds. We'll see temperatures back into the 40s around the Springs and Pueblo. So if you're planning a hike tomorrow, here's how it looks. Layer up around 10 a.m. Temperatures in the upper 30s. Mix of sun and clouds and an increase in wind around 41 degrees. And then temperatures back down to near freezing by around 6 o'clock. So system moves out Friday morning. Still some lingering snow in the mountain areas, especially north of I-70. But I think for the most part by Friday night, continuing through the first part of your weekend, we're looking pretty good here across all of Colorado. Drier skies to get out to the mountains, maybe to wrap up the holidays for you and your family. Heading into Sunday, here comes the next system that moves in. And this model shows it into Denver potentially Sunday night. Could see some of this snow if this front holds together into the Springs and Canyon City, even parts of Teller County late Sunday night into Monday morning. We'll be watching those developments for you. In the meantime, tonight, lows down to the teens in Woodland Park, 20s across the I-25 corridor. We have 41 tomorrow in the Springs, 45 in Pueblo, and 35 expected towards the Tri-Lakes. So in the Springs, the cool down comes tomorrow, and it sticks around for a day. Look at Saturday jumping back up to the mid-50s, and then as that system approaches Sunday, wind first, cloud second, then maybe a flurry or two heading into Monday. Temperature back down to the 30s in the Springs. Roller coaster ride of temperatures as well for Pueblo. We're down to the 40s tomorrow and Friday after a high of 62 today. 56 on Saturday, a great start to the weekend. Heading into Sunday, the wind picks up. Chance of snow heading into early next week. Canyon City, mid-40s here tomorrow through Friday. So a cold end to the week across the region, but we're warming back up on Saturday with the wind and the cooler weather coming in on Sunday. And at Woodland Park, temperatures hovering near freezing. Back down to the single digits tomorrow night. It's going to be cold out there, Elizabeth, but a great reward is the weekend.